Hi, so this video is quite late and I wanted it to come out fairly earlier, but things got in the way. So this is a sort of listening along to the Independent Characters video. The Independent Characters podcast is really cool. I was fortunate enough to meet Carl from the Independent Characters and a Don. Yes, I met a Don as well. Hello. I met you guys when you came over with the Life Out of the Cover save with Blake and Ed when they came over, and both of those podcasts are great. Life Out of the Cover save is great, and the Independent Characters is great. I'm sure people watching this video know those two podcasts, but if you don't, go find them. They're really good. But this is going to be a sort of, it's not going to be a regular video series. It's just sometimes when I listen to the Independent Characters, I have thoughts, and I thought maybe I'll share them with you. But this is sort of in relation to the Warrior Lodge that came out episode 173. The Warrior Lodges, I think, are probably your best episodes, Carl. They're great, I love them, but I understand that they're logistically difficult to, there are so many people. I understand why you don't do them very often, but I really like them. So keep up the good work, they're really good. The first question that came up was talking about where can Forge World go from here, where people like to see them go, and I mean, really basically all the points that were raised in the Independent Characters Warrior Lodge, I basically agree with, and they're great. But I'm going to tell you what I thought as well. I think specialist games are great. I really like the fact that they're picking up, well, Forge World's picking up the specialist games range. I think that's fantastic. All the sort of resin models for Blood Bowl and Blood Bowl itself, great. The models look fantastic. I've played some Blood Bowl and I think it's cool. I think it'd be really cool if you saw, this is a tangent, put Blood Bowl in sports bars. You know, the ones with the big TV screens and people drinking and watching football or hockey or whatever, basketball. I think if you put Blood Bowl, like maybe a demo table, just in like a free table for pubs, and they could sell just Blood Bowl along with drink. I think they should probably do that. I think that'd be really cool. So if you're watching Forge World, get your marketing people to contact a load of sports bars around the world and see if you can stock a load of Blood Bowl with them. I think that would be really. I think the player base for 40k is, it's quite stereotypical. I think if there were loads of sort of, it would just be cool to play against somebody who had come from Warhammer, not from the traditional, they come from like a sports bar and fantasy football and there's this cool weird goblins and humans like beating to death. I think that's cool. So I think that's cool. But I'd really like specialist games to pick up Battlefleet Gothic. I love Battlefleet Gothic. Oh my god, I'd love to see it. People are worried that if it does happen, the scales can be different. Like the Blood Bowl miniatures are smaller and the Necromunda miniatures are smaller, and the plastic ones are bigger. But the plastic ones are bigger and they're better. Yeah, more stuff to paint, there's more detail, they're multi-part. It's the same with Space Marine Terminators. Space Marine Terminators were tiny on a 25mm base, and then they got put on a slightly bigger base, and then they came out with a new kit. The kit we're familiar with at the moment, and it's great. People like the Terminator kit better than the first one, so I don't mind if my Battlefleet Gothic ships are bigger. I think it's going to be cool. So yeah, that's point one. What you would like next for 40k is the sort of next bit. So what's the thing that I'd like to see next for 40k? I would really like to see warzone supplements. I'd love to see supplements for the Dark Imperium, the Imperium Nihilus. I think a warzone Dark Imperium would be fantastic. I think because people going through is it the Nochmed Gauntlet and Vigilus, we're sort of going through the gauntlet, and once we secure Vigilus, if it is, you can go through into so it would be really cool to see. I think a warzone, sort of the Dark Imperium, I'd love to see sort of that sort of thing. And I'd also like to see the sort of books and the bits of the Great Rift, of the sort of the 3 books, the Cadir, the Primarch, and the Inari. I'd like to see that. I'd like to buy it again in sort of book form, like they did for the World That Was. You can still buy those, or you could when I last looked. That'd be cool. And obviously, I want to see more stuff to do with narrative play. I think it's all fair and well saying go ahead and go make your own narrative play. Lots of people do, but I think the people who don't just go and make their own narrative ideas because they're so familiar for looking through books. I heard a story that Jeff from the Independent Characters said that he got really tired of Warhammer 5th edition towards the end of 5th edition before 6th came out, and it was because he was playing with the tiny rulebook, the small one, and it has 3 missions and 3 deployment types. So he was playing 9 possible missions of Warhammer 40,000, and he didn't realise that in the large rulebook there was a whole host. There's like 6 or another 6 again, like 12 in total, other missions to play Warhammer 40,000 just in the rulebook, and he hadn't got it. So naughty you, Jeff. But I think if people aren't given the tools to play narratively, they sort of don't, especially if you're used to playing like 40k before 8th edition happened, where there's the sort of narrative element. I think the people who play narratively, and the people who don't play narratively don't. And I think there could be a bit of an overlap, and I think an overlap could happen with just like a big book on like hooks and all this for Warhammer. I think that's kind of cool, and it could be a thing. I'd like to see that. I'd like to see more people playing narratively, and I think that could help. And finally, talking about inclusion and representation. So, I think more people from different backgrounds playing Warhammer is cool. It means that there's just more people playing, so there's more money, people buying it, and different opponents and different ways of thinking and playing Warhammer. I think that's quite cool. Plastic Sisters Battle are coming. There's renders that have been shown up. At the moment I've seen heads and bolters, and that's really cool. I think I want to own Plastic Sisters of Battle, so I'm looking forward to it anyway. But the talk with the independent characters, talking about the big sort of Sigma, Age of Sigmar warrioress, how she looks cool, and I think that's great. I think the more male and female characters players we can get in, but females, it's quite typical that you don't see many girls playing, and one of the reasons is there's nothing to do with that. I think if there was a Wonder Woman sort of style army for Age of Sigmar, you could get a lot of people who are interested in the film, and you could get a sort of a themed Wonder Woman Amazonian-esque army. I think that would be a cool way to get in. And yes, Primaris Marines. I think female Primaris Marines would be cool to see. I'd like to see that. And I think all the points raised on the independent characters is great, so I'm not really going to talk about it all that much, but yeah, I agree. I think there's no point in making Space Marines female. I don't think they're going to make many more kits for Space Marine Tactical Squads. I think it's probably done. But we're going to see more Primaris, and I'm happy with that. I like to see more models. More models is cool. More models is a bit better. But actually what I'd really like to see is, I think the Imperial Guard are a really good place to have. I remember looking through a book of Imperial Guard, an old one, this way in fact, and inside the huge drawings of different types of regiments, and loads of different worlds have different styles of battle dress and tactics and everything. And at the moment we've just got sort of some metal guys, and I don't even know if you can buy Catagens anymore, or sometimes they're sort of on and off the site, and there's just Cadians. So there's 2 plastic armies, and they're all guys, and they're all painted white. They're white guys playing Warhammer, or on the battlefield. I want to see plastic humans of different sort of walks of life, different planets, different environments. I know it's expensive to make a load of people for different, and I don't know if it's going to be sort of a business worthwhile decision to make a load of really expensive molds for which is essentially the same troop choice, 10 guys, 10 guys, 10 guys. But if we had the Rough Riders from Attila, they immediately look different, and you can paint the skin tones. I mean, you can paint the skin tones differently for everything, but I think the box art for Cadians is just 10 white guys, and the box art for Counterchans is 10 white, basically Rambos. But the box art for Attila's would be a load of people who painted with a darker skin tone, and they just look different. They look like other people in the street, people who aren't a white guy like me, it's somebody else. I think there could be just like an upgrade kit, like the Space Marine upgrade kits. It's just a sprue, or the Deathwatch kit with shoulder pads and heads. You could just have like people with weird heads or like a turban equivalent, or anything that's not you would stick on your Cadians, or that could be a thing. But it would be cool to see sort of people of colour represented. There have been. I'm looking at my white walls over there. I've seen painting guides now for sort of darker skin tones, and lots of chaos stuff, and some of the Necromunda Goliaths, they had sort of weird dark skin tones because they've been jacked up on drugs, or they were already darker skinned beforehand, or they're sort of broiled with warp sort of residue, and they're sort of bits of embers underneath their skin, and the marks of different gods are sort of branded into them, and their skins are weird colours. I think skin tone is quite important, and it would be cool to see, as well as lots of female models. I'd like to see ways of making people of colour sort of brought into the hobby, because I don't know about you, but I don't know anybody who's from sort of dark skin tone who likes, I don't know, hip hop or reggae. It's quite often the people who I play against like metal, or and they're white. That's sort of it, really. There's not a lot of like different musical tastes really between people who like Warhammer, as far as I know. There's going to be lots of people, all the people who play Warhammer. I haven't met them all yet, but for the most part, it's like a big. Beards are quite popular, and people who like metal tend to play Warhammer. That's what I found. So I'd like to see different people with musical tastes to play against, so I can just talk or listen to what they got on their iPod, and it's just different. But this is a super long video, so I'm sorry. But that's my thoughts, my musings. Maybe you enjoyed, maybe you didn't. It'd be cool if you let me know what you think. I want to know what people want for Warhammer, and yeah. That's the end of the video. Bye bye.